All right, guys, how you feeling?
Good.
You're about to run a long way in the freezing cold.
104.9 miles. Actually, probably 105 because we're gonna have to cut down to 33. So
Let's just round
That's
up.
right.
Yeah.
no, we're just round up.
It'll be
105, 105 even or prime. But
Yeah, I didn't check the weather. I don't know if it's supposed to keep it up like this all day or what. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's gonna get colder for the next couple hours. And then it's gonna...
There they go.
hey guys, welcome to the channel. We just got done running the run that we have been talking about for a few months, and so situation we just finished up yesterday, and we didn't quite make all of our 105-mile goal. We ended up having to stop short because we had to make a few changes to what we were doing, and some of that was we've been planning this to be in the cold weather, and we knew that the potential for having some weather changes was going to be out there, but we didn't really anticipate how bad it was going to get. So in this case, it got down into like the negatives. I think when we started, it was -8 that morning. And so we were prepared and we had cold weather gear, but our original plan was just to try to do 105 miles in under 36 hours, and to be primarily supported through it because we were running through the Appalachians, which is a lot of elevation change, extremely hard to do just on its own, and then you add the complications of not being able to be supplied in cold weather. We ended up having some issues, and Nate's going to talk about a little bit of the stuff that we went through and how we adjusted on the fly. It was pretty interesting to say the least.
So the day before we were supposed to start the run, we found out that the park was closed. They had closed the roads, and that the Skyline Drive has 2 crossing points, and so it basically gave us a 40-mile leg, a 35-mile leg, and then a 30-mile leg that we had to complete. So we were going to have 2 resupplies at those 2 crossings, and then the finish. And essentially we had to carry all of our own gear for those 40 miles and then the 35 miles. And the first 40 miles went pretty well. The roads were mostly clear. We made it in under 12 hours. I think about 11 hours. We made it the first
40 miles.
Yeah, first 40 miles. And that's with probably 10, 15-pound packs, all of our water, all of our food. We ended up going a little bit light on the food, and we were hurting pretty good at the end of that first 40. We were in a huge calorie deficit, and we tried to make up for that as much as possible at the resupply. We got some hot coffee. We had made some bone broth, which at some point during the preparation time had gone rancid on us, and myself and old Kebab found out the hard way what rancid bone broth does to you.
So just a few sips. It's not like we drank a whole cup of it.
No, it was literally just a couple of sips, and found out like that's not good. We didn't drink anymore, but on the second leg, probably about halfway through the second leg, we started finding out what that does to you and became extremely dehydrated. On top of that, our camelbacks kept freezing solid because of how cold it was. So we were limited on water. We pretty much, by the end of it, we were down to 1 camelback that we were able to keep warm up against our bodies, or Kevin wore it underneath his one of his layers to keep it warm. But we were pretty much down to 1 camelback. We did a lot better on food on that second leg, but I think the calorie deficit that we had created on the first leg, combined with the dehydration, the food poisoning, and the obvious cold temperatures, led to myself going hypothermic. I think Kevin was borderline. AJ did well. He had a pretty heavy jacket that we swapped out so that I could warm up enough to at least make it to the to the next crossing, and that's when we had to call it. So we ended up 75 miles according to Skyline Drive, 80 miles according to GPS, and just knew that last 30-mile leg, with the amount of dehydration, calorie deficit, and lower extremity injuries that we had sustained, that there was just, it would have been too dangerous to go ahead and finish. But
Yeah, we had a couple lessons learned, which were extremely beneficial. I hope it helps you guys, that it is okay to sacrifice a little bit of the weight or carrying a little bit more weight, especially in the cold where you're burning more calories and you need that nourishment for your body. So the first 40-mile leg, we ended up not taking as much food as we should have. We again, like Nate said, kind of put us in that deficit, which may have affected us in the second leg, but we were able to learn. And the second leg, we definitely did bring enough food. Again, with the water bladders, it was an unforeseen complication. We ended up adapting a little bit. Had to wear the water bladder underneath my clothes and feed the tube down my sleeve in order to have constant heat, so it didn't solidify. What else?
I mean, I think some of the unforeseen things that we came up against was that we had ice for like the last 30 miles. The first was pretty clear, but the last 30 miles. And so, you know, you try to anticipate that you're going to have lower extremity injuries anyway when you're running this long. So you try to make sure you have ace bandages and to tape up. But at the end of the day, a couple of slips and
painful slips.
The one thing that we had been training to run mountains, but the turns were all banked. There's a lot of back and forth and switchbacks, and they're banked. So the whole time that you're running on those, your feet are trying to turn outside or inside, depending on which way they're banked. And all of us ended up with pretty severe ankle injuries. All of our ankles are extremely swollen, and we had been prepared. We all ran 40 miles probably about 6 weeks ago, and we didn't have really any lower extremity problems. Nate had some, but I think that was primarily because he was using a new shoe.
It was just gear malfunction.
Yeah, we were just trying to shake gear out, because when you're going this long, whatever you're wearing, you need to be really, really confident in. It's not time to go out there and try something new out. So we felt pretty confident with the stuff that we had, and so I think a lot of it was just terrain and territory. Sometimes you think you're prepared for that, and you got to try to make an adjustment on the fly. And sometimes it works out, and sometimes it doesn't. You know, like with the water, you know, what are you going to do? Like, you got to have water. There's no one that's going to come help you. You're 40 miles away from anybody.
Yes.
So you just start coming up with ways around your situation. And in our case, there was some stuff that we could fix, and a lot of stuff that we couldn't fix, but we gave it a swing anyway.
You know, so according to the old Garmin here, GPS distance was 78.8 miles. We had about 8,000 feet of elevation gain, about 7,000 feet of descending, and it was, I mean, it was rough. Definitely, probably one of the hardest mental challenges that we've come across so far.
Yeah.
Especially with being unsupported. We had, I mean, like Nate said, our previous plan was every 10 miles, we had a resupply, everything mapped out down to a calorie, a calorie breakdown, and having to adjust on the day we got here, because the park was closed, to only having 2 resupplies was something we really had to like mentally prepare for. And I don't really know if we could have prepared more mentally for that, but that second leg definitely, it definitely got to us mentally, and we had to just push forward, because there was no way to get to us other than calling emergency services, which that wasn't happening unless we were like completely broken.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there's some times where it got considered, but ultimately we had enough stuff to take care of ourselves, and we came out on the other side of it. But at 78 miles, that was pretty much all I wanted by the end of it. I thought I'd have a little more left in the tank, but I think given the area that we did it in, we have finished it? Yes, but we would have needed some really extensive breaks somewhere in there because there was just no way to get your feet back on track and get enough food in you and get warmed up enough. Our average temperature was starting to drop because we couldn't stay warm enough.
Couldn't move fast
enough to stay warm. And so then we burned off all our calories. You know, your body starts burning off. You start shivering and stuff to stay warm, and then you burn it off. You burn what you do have off, and so your temperature just starts dropping. We had good gear on, and we were still battling that the whole way. And so with some lengthier stops, we would have, I think, been successful for the whole thing. Yeah. But to continue after, we would have needed more time that we just didn't really have, given what we had set up, because this isn't close to home for us. So we made the decision to pull out just based off of injuries and problems that we had in our time frame. And I still think that we did really fantastic. We brought some awareness to MS, and the link below, you can still donate to MS. We're going to keep it up for a while after this video posts, so that if you want to donate to it, please do. It's a terrible disease, and it takes away people's mobility and their quality of life, and I think a lot of people take that for granted. And that's part of what we do just for ourselves, but that I think a lot of other people should start doing is going out there, doing some stuff, get outside, get out from behind your desk, computer, out from underneath cars or on equipment, whatever you do, and start finding things to do, because there's a lot out there to explore, and I think that's where people and kids are really their happiest.
Well, I mean, last note, I'm not sure if you have anything else, but really want to thank our families. Couldn't have done it without their support. Want to thank our cameraman, Mike.
Yeah.
Being the tech
editor-in-chief. Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, we really couldn't have done this without our families and the support that they have given us, especially everyone who's donated to the MS. Thank you very much. And really couldn't have done it without all your support too.
Nate, last words?
We just, thank you guys, everybody that watches, and mostly family and friends. We look forward to seeing what you guys have to say. Maybe give us something to do next. You know, if you have any thoughts or ideas on our next challenge, we'll be happy to take it on. So we appreciate it. Old Souls, Adventure Outdoors.
Thanks, guys.